Hey everybody, it's Saturday. I'm out here in the dungeon doing a little bit of work. And something that I noticed the other night, I was in the gym and I was doing legs. And there was a young guy next to me, and now you have to remember, when I do legs, I do, all my pre-fatigue stuff first, so I don't have to try and squat that heavy. What's heavy is relative. So by the time I've done a whole lot of quadricep, and hamstring work, and then I get to the squat rack, I'm pretty fucking, pretty fatigued. I'm already pretty destroyed. So what would normally not be a lot of weight is heavy. And I go, ass to heels, full range of motion. I think that's best for complete development. It's always worked best for me. Well, anyway, I'd done all this work. I was sweating my fucking ass off. And I was in the squat rack. And, I always start out with the bar on those occasions because if something's going to tweak or whatever, I want to know it. So I do like 15 reps ass to heels with the bar. Then I'll put a couple 45s, one on each side. I'll do like 15 reps like that, ass to heels. And I'll do a lot of pauses at the bottom, stop and then push up. And I'll go to 2 1/4. And rarely ever will I do 315 now like that. I have done over 5 like that before, but it's been a long time. And I don't see the necessity for it right now. I haven't really done that much with my legs yet since coming back from my injury. So I'm not there that's required, and I'm growing from what I'm doing, so there's no reason to push it and take chances. Now, I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet, obviously, and things are coming along slowly, but everybody feels that way. Everybody wants to progress faster. So I'm happy with what's going on actually overall with as bad as my shoulder was. Anyhow, there was a kid next to me, younger guy, and he was doing, now when I say kid, he could have been 19, he could have been 20, he could have been 18, he could have been 21 or 22. It all looks the same to me nowadays. And he was going like really deep, pretty much as deep as I was going. And he had like 2 1/4 on when I was putting 2 1/4 on. And, he's going ass to heels. He's struggling now. He's bent over, coming up a little bit, but got to give him props. He was doing it. He's doing the right thing, and that's going to build superior leg development overall. Now, I am assuming, because I didn't see him over on any other leg equipment where I was at for the previous, half an hour to 40 minutes, just thrashing my quads and hams directly. So, superset style and calves. So I'm assuming that he started out with squats, like I used to do back in my younger days. And, I got my belt laying on the floor, and I put my 2 1/4 on. That's usually when I'm going to belt up nowadays, especially when I'm that pre-fatigued. And I look down on the floor at the belt, and he don't have any belt on himself, so I'm thinking, this young whippersnapper, he's kind of seems a little bit cocky, because he did a little bit, and rightfully so in some regards, And I thought, I'm not going to put my belt on. He don't have a belt on. Fuck it. This old man can keep up. I'm going to show him. And then I thought, fuck that. This old man's been injured too many times. I'm putting that belt on. And I put the belt on one head and did what I had to do. And of course, as I got heavier, I went down and stopped longer and held it all the way down. And then went up with the 2 1/4 so that just to show me I can do it. But I'm not trying. I could go a lot heavier, but I'm not going to. So, as if anybody cares and that's the thing to concentrate on, right? Of course it's not. But the whole point I'm trying to get to is belts. Belts, what they really do and why you should or should not use them. Okay, now when I was younger coming up, and for many years even after that, and with a lot of the bigger guys, stronger guys that I trained with, Brian Weston, for example, 1,000-pound legitimate 1,000-pound squatter. I think he was 232 when he first squatted at Grand, and he wasn't even entered in the contest. It was a powerlifting contest. He wasn't even entered, I believe. Video is on the internet. It's available if you want to Google it, check it out. But somebody bet him, I think it was Karen Kidder or whatever, offered him $1,000 to squat 1,000 pounds, something like that. And he did it. The video's all over. It's on the internet. It's old time. It's been on there a while if you want to check it out. But whole point is, like Brian, he had a monster deadlift too. There's videos of him deadlifting like 740 in competition with no problem, with no belt. He was famous for not deadlifting, not wearing a belt. He would deadlift with no belt. 740, no belt. No belt at all. Okay, so around a lot of these guys and the way I came up, we didn't wear belts. Because, except for our like ultimate heavy single sets, we didn't wear belts. And the reason was we thought we were going to get better core development and develop all these stabilizers and things. And then the belt was just kind of a crutch, and you would lack some of this if you relied on this belt. Well, that may be true in some regard, but again, you have to consider the rule of diminishing returns. Was it worth it? Because the guys that we used to kind of chide a little bit, not just to ourselves and amongst our group. I mean, we weren't going to, voice our opinion to anybody else. They can do what they want. But we always kind of figured the guys that wore belts, they just walk around with their belts on the whole workout. We would think they kind of wear that belt like a fashion accessory, really. You know what I mean? And we're too cool for that, and we're too hardcore for that. But guess what? Everybody, sooner or later, gets an umbilical hernia. An umbilical hernia, famous hernias, right? Right above your navel or behind your navel or right in that general area, just rips right through the ab lining, right between the ab muscles where there's no muscle. And it just pops right out of there and looks like eventually there's a little alien trying to come out of you, and you eventually got to deal with it and get it fixed. It's unsightly. There's been plenty of bodybuilders with them. Plenty of bodybuilders have them. Plenty of powerlifters and strength athletes. Lots of people that I know have had them. Almost everybody I know has had one fixed or has one currently or whatever. And you know what? The guys that we used to kind of laugh at, that were walking around with the belt on the whole time, guess what? They got big anyway, and they never got umbilical hernias. So I'm telling you from experience, you don't want to have to, it's just something you don't have to go through. So wear the belt. Put the belt on. I can understand if you're going pretty light, but if you start to strain and you're really straining, put that belt on. Now, from not wearing a belt, I mean, there's pictures of me when I'm really, really lean. And when I say lean, I'm talking veins through my abs, veins through all my back, all over my head even, in my face even, across my temples and my forehead. I mean, pretty hard and pretty good condition. And I didn't always look like that. There's pictures where I look like shit too. But point is, those abs that I had that looked like bricks, that had depth, you could actually see that in the picture. You could grab each one like it was a fucking brick. I never did direct ab work. I got those abs are attributed from all the core shit that was involved with all the heavy shit that I lifted without a belt. But you know what? I also got a shit bunch of hernias too. So my advice is, fuck it. Even if you got to directly train abs or whatever, wear that belt, man. Don't get the hernia. Avoid those hernias. I mean, everybody eventually gets them. And you know what? Brian Weston eventually got one too. Even Brian. As powerful and strong as he is. So, everybody gets injured. Everybody can get injured. The best of them, men lots and lots stronger than I. They've been injured too. And it's never good. And it's always inconvenient and interrupts your training, and it can be, all kind of fucked up shit. It can make you look fucked up. It can change the appearance of what you look like. It can cost you all kind of money and time and progress and set you back. So wear the belt. The belt's not really there. A lot of people are under the mistaken idea that the belt is there to lend back support. And although it may, to some degree, do that, shore you up a little bit, that's not what it's for. It's not for that. What it's for is to keep your abs together. It's to keep you, to equalize the pressure, and to keep you from busting through there and fucking having your guts fall out. So nothing that drastic is probably going to happen to you, but if you don't wear a belt and you go heavy and you strain hard, no matter how strong you get, no matter how good your abs are, sooner or later, most likely, you're going to get some kind of umbilical hernia because the shit comes through between where there's no abs. So just avoid that and wear a fucking belt in the first place. That's my advice, just based on experience.